Hi everyone, I'm Erosha. So I'm just gonna talk to you about, that's my little one as well. So she's saying hi. So striving for inclusion, because that's what we've been doing with our eldest. So I'll just go into the next slide and introduce her to you. So Sethmi, I like to look at Sethmi in her valued roles, because I think you've heard a lot about valued roles during this conference, and I think it's really important to see our little people, see our person that we care about in those roles. So Sethmi's a daughter, sister, granddaughter, a cousin, a dancer, a bike rider, and she's a really good jigsaw enthusiast. She's just crazy about puzzles. Swimmer, horse rider, and recently a bodyboarder. She wants to do surfing, I think, and a budding reader. So that's kind of what her roles are at the moment. And also I'd like to give you a vision of, like to talk to you about our vision for her, because I think that was one of the important things we did, coming up with the vision and actually writing it down, because that made it all very real, what we wanted for her. So what we want for Sethmi is to be a valued member in her community, contributing and celebrating life to the fullest. I mean, that's what we all want, but in doing so, we also want her to be fully included in a mainstream classroom, form new and lasting friendships, become a skillful, confident reader, and be a perfect role model for her sister and brother. She already is. And pursue her love for dancing. She loves dancing, so I'll talk a little bit more on that. So I think it's really important that we came up with this vision, and that helped us even with our NDIS planning, a lot of the things. Whenever we go to a meeting, having this vision really helped us. So I also like to talk about the challenges Sethmi faces. So apart from being that cheeky 8-year-old, she's also autistic, which means she's got a few challenges. It means that she's got challenges in communication and social interaction. So she's got limited verbal communication, and she's a sensory seeker, so she's always fiddling with a plastic. She loves plastic bags and anything plastic, so it gives her the sense of stimulation that she requires sometimes to control her anxiety. But it sometimes means that her availability for learning is limited. So there's a chance that it makes her less anxious, but at the same time not available. So finding that balance is challenging for her and for us. And she's not one of changes, and she needs a lot of pre-warning. There's also the attention issues, things like that. But, you know, she still goes on. She still participates in a lot of things. So even though she has these challenges, it's about supporting her properly. I think that's the message I want to send. So I'll also let you know a little bit about her early education. So she went to an early intervention unit, an autism intervention unit, when she was 3. She was diagnosed with autism when she was about 2.5. And then she started going into early intervention. And when she was 4, so she had the opportunity to go to preschool, just like anyone else. But what we faced when we went and approached the preschool was that, there's restrictions as to why she can actually be there. She couldn't just go and participate in a preschool setting like others. We had to have so many meetings. We had to convince that she can be there too. And unfortunately, the preschool she went to, we had the teacher saying she needed 100% support, so we had to fight to get that support. It took us almost 2 terms to actually get that support. So by the time preschool was over, that's when she's actually had some support, and that actually she could go full time into preschool. So I think that set a really big precedence in our level of thinking, that we thought, oh, mainstream. We had that notion, that experience from preschool, thinking, oh, are we gonna do this, can she handle it? So the kind of conversations we had didn't help us think that she can actually be in a mainstream setting. So around that time, that's when we thought, maybe we should be looking, like when that decision of where she's going to go came about for her primary schooling, we thought learning support unit is going to be the best place for her. So I think that's the kind of setting we had when we went to primary school. And so she went to she is still going actually to a learning support unit for autism, but she's also going to a mainstream school one day, which we have been working on for some time. As you can see, we've been working on it for 2 years, but we're not giving up, because we really believe that's the place she should be, because we've come a long way in understanding and believing and knowing where she belongs. And I think that was the main thing that I wanted to sort of talk about, why we sort of went into this segregated setting. I think I'll be talking a little bit more about it in this one as well. So I think at that point in time, having that bad experience at preschool and then not being supported well also didn't help. And then we didn't know any better. We thought, all the conversations were telling us that, sort of directing us. Maybe they weren't telling us this is where she should be, but it was the kind of language that we were hearing. So we ended up going into a unit, and we actually believe that she's going to get the best learning there. That's why we put her in there. But we now realize, by putting her into a segregated setting, we ourselves set her up as a different person. So in the school she is at, when she is in a segregated setting, all the other kids are going to believe that she belongs there. I mean, it's not their fault. We have put her there. So that's the perception we have built up by putting her in that segregated setting. So it's that perception is very hard to break. Once you've got that going, it's very hard to break. So that's why we seeked, that's why we wanted to go into a mainstream school. So what was the turning point? Well, in 2014, Sethmi was not having a great year in the unit. She didn't even want to go in. There were days that she rarely, she really didn't want to go in. So we looked at other options. We even looked at special schools, because, we looked at all the options thinking, oh, is this the right place for her? And then fortunately for us, I went and attended this workshop by Darcy Elks, and such a passionate speaker on inclusion, and it was hosted by Imagine More. And it opened our eyes as to what Sethmi can achieve by being in an inclusive setting. So it just gave us that confidence, and that it led us to believe that this can happen. It's not impossible. And I think creating the vision for Sethmi actually made us have this clear idea as to where she needs to be. So we want her to have that inclusive life. So we have to make the changes now, not when she is 16. We have to make sure she has all the opportunities to be in every inclusive setting that she can be from now, not when she's older. So that's why we explored all avenues, including after school activities like dancing. So she goes to a culture break, which I think some of you must have heard. Such a great setup, such a great environment, to such a really an inclusive environment. And she's been going there for the last year or so, and she's been really participating. She just loves going there, and it's just being around her peers and being around other kids who love dancing. So there is the commonality there is loving dancing. There is nothing else. So the other kids don't see her as for what she can't do, but what she can do, like, you know, the dancing. And recently we've had another girl in the class really wanting to help her to come in and follow the instructions, follow the class, just like everyone helps out her friends, you know, friends help each other. And that could have never happened if she was in a segregated kind of setting. So because she was in this typical dancing class, she was able to be supported by another friend, which was really important. And I don't think she would have made any connection like that if she didn't go to a inclusive setting like that. So, and another thing that also made us really think about inclusive setting was her reading. We started a reading program, and it has really gotten her confident in her reading. I just want to show you all a bit of her reading, just so you know.
Set of two that very good. It's a story about a bug. A bug. On two shore of a big lake. Very good. Who sat on the shore? Sethmi, who sat on the shore? A big bug. A bug sat on the shore. Need, very good. I need to get to other that of this lake. Oh, so the bug needs to go to the other side of the lake. Wants to go to the other side. But it did not like to get wet. Something else, okay? But the bug did not like to get wet. Oh no. So let's see what happens. Like to sleep and like to what but I do I not like to get
I might cut that short, sorry, just so we can go through the next slides. But she's been so fantastic going through that, and it has given her the confidence. And I think it's seeing others read and seeing others do the things and know that her typical peers doing things, that I think that motivates her. I really believe it motivates her to do more. And she's been doing lots more than she has when she was, just in the unit. So I really truly believe that her peers motivate her to do a lot more. So what kind of advocacy did we need, or the support? First of all, we needed to believe ourselves that Sethmi belongs in an inclusive setting. So we needed a lot of information and advocacy around that. And then choosing the right school and building the right relationship, that's take a lot of effort, a lot of support. And even navigating the system, because there is no path set up. This is the way how you do it, because everyone's situation is different. So you just have to follow your gut and take it from there, and surround yourself with people who believe in your vision. I think that's the most important thing. And when you find the right school, you have to keep talking to them and understand whether they believe in the vision that you have. And if you don't think that it's the right school, you have to do a change. You have to do it. Constantly revisiting the vision and making sure that we are on the right path. In everything we do, that's what we do. So if we go for a swimming class or a swimming lesson, we think, is this the kind of setting we want Sethmi to be in? Is this the kind of thing that we want her to be doing? Because is that going to help her vision? So that's how we've been sort of going about it now. And I think it's really helped Sethmi, and it's really helped us to give her the support she needs. And of course, attending workshops like these, and keeping ourselves motivated to go through this journey, because it takes a lot of energy. As I talk, we're going to talk about benefits. That's like, we feel Sethmi is really happy amongst her peers. Yeah, she might have, off days and times that we all have those. But, she is much happier person by being in an inclusive setting. And we know that the research says how powerful inclusive education can be, and I know that you all have been hearing all about it during the past, yesterday and today. So, and the fact that she's a valued participant of the entire school community is one of the biggest things that I think that we believe in. Because in the segregated setting that she is in, whatever she participates in, she is still seen as part of belonging to that segregated setting. So she is never going to be seen as another classmate. So if you take in the mainstream school she is in, and in that setting, the peers come and play with her and try to make connections with her. But in the segregated setting it has been a concerted effort. They've been trying to get kids to come in and be in the unit. It takes a lot more effort, and it's really put on. Sometimes I feel it's not genuine. I'm not saying they're not putting genuine effort into it. I'm just saying it's like it's a setup kind of thing. It doesn't happen naturally. So, but in a mainstream setting, it happens naturally. It'll take a while. It's not going to happen the first day, but it'll happen. So, and Sethmi is a visual learner and a keen observer. So she learns by watching. She learns, even when you think she's not watching, she's actually really taking everything in. I mean, she tries to do scooter tricks sometimes, And she's done that because she's watched other kids do that in the park. Not because we've done it. I've never ridden scooters in my life. So, you know, I don't know how to ride a skateboard. I'm too scared, but she wants to, you know. So it's all about having that right modeling and being in the right environment. So this is something she got from a girl in her mainstream school, the first one she went to. So this really, really, you know, warmed my heart. And this is the first ever thing she got from anyone. So, you know, she's been in a school, in a segregated setting in a mainstream school for 4 years. But she goes to a mainstream school for 1 day, and she gets this, you know. So it's about being in the right environment. So there are challenges. It's not an easy road, so it can be overwhelming. As a parent, you have so many things to do, not just do the fighting for your loved one, but you just got to do it because you know it's right. And the benefits you get is just outweighs the challenges. And anytime, you know, anytime I think of, oh, I can't do this, I go back to this. And I go back to things that she has achieved, and it sets me right up and saying, okay, we can do this. So, and having, another thing that can really drag on you is the fact that you have to advocate for everything. Sometimes even for the littlest thing, even to participate in certain activities in a school, sometimes you have to go and talk and make sure she's got the right support and that they're gonna do it. But you know, you just do it. You just gotta, because you believe in it. So this is why it's worthwhile. So this is at a birthday party that Sethmi went to, and 8-year-olds apparently have pamper birthday parties now. And they put on nail polish, they have cucumber and strawberry face masks and stuff like that. I mean, I was like, far out, what's this? And I'm like sitting, I'm not sure Sethmi is gonna do any of that. Oh, no. She goes, sits down, because some of her school friends are there, and some of the girls that she knows from the school were there, and she goes and gives her hands to get her nails polished, and then she probably didn't really like anything on her face, but she did give it a go, and then she went on and got her makeup done, and I'm like, wow. So you can see how much being in an inclusive setting really helps her. So it just, the opportunities, you cannot say these are the opportunities, because it doesn't stop. It's just the connections you make. But and those connections, they last forever. The kind of connections you have with the friends, those are the things that last forever. So it's really worthwhile going this journey. So it's really tough because we're still 1 day a week at the school, so we are working towards full inclusion next year. So we are hoping to get there, and I'm really confident that we will get there next year, and that she will have all these other opportunities available for her. So yeah, don't give up. Today's mighty oak is just yesterday's nut that held its ground. So, you know.
Thanks, Erosha, for that.